Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Leah, and today I thought I'd do a cute, simple pop of color tutorial that I was inspired by Kylie. So stay tuned if you'd like to see how I achieve this look. Okay, so now that I have my moisturizer and my eye cream on, I kind of like to just let that sit while I do my brows so that I'm not just putting product on top of product. I'm actually letting it soak into my skin. So for brows today, I'm gonna use, I guess, the Anastasia brow pencil because I can't find my other one that I really like. But yeah, for brows, I kind of just like to do something like a little bit natural, and for me, natural means as little as possible. My brows are pretty full already, so what I like to do is just line the bottom and then fill in the top a little, and I'll only conceal the bottom if I'm just doing something not too glam. So at first I'll pretty much messily fill in my eyebrows. I won't really try to go in a shape because I feel like that's what concealer is for. If anything, I'm only really neat with the top, the bottom. I kind of just like to flick it around, add more product where I feel like I need it, and just fill in the gaps on the top. I try not to, again, be as neat as possible with this because I am cleaning it up with concealer anyways. I just try to get the general shape that I'm going for, and then I'll brush it all through with the spoolie. So once I feel like I have kind of a full-ish shape that I'm going for, I'll just clean up underneath with some concealer, and I'll usually just use the concealer that I'm going to use on my face. And my favorite right now is Born This Way. Their multi-shape sculpting concealer. And this is in Warm Sand. So I'm just going to take this with a concealer brush. This is just a MAC. I've had this for so long, the numbers are kind of not even numbers anymore. I think this is a 242. So I'm just going to start, well, by brushing it up. And then I'm just going to conceal my arch first. Just because I feel like that's the hardest part of my brows that I struggle a lot with. I feel like from now on, I just have to connect the, well, not really connect, but just line the front now, and it's pretty simple because that is essentially the easiest part of my brow for me. And once I have the shape that I kind of like, I'll just add a little bit more concealer and drag it down just so it blends and I don't have a line of concealer under my brow. Here I'll just continue touching up areas that I feel like I need, but I'm pretty happy with the shape that I have right now, so I'm just gonna blend this down. Again, I won't really do anything to the top. As far as cleaning up, I'll just use my beauty blender and tap my foundation as close to the brow as possible, and I feel like that just gives me a natural look that I actually really, really like. So I'm just going to do the same to the other brow. I feel like concealer is such an important part of a brow routine. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to add a little bit more product and bring it all down. This brow is not cooperating. Okay. I'm still not happy with this brow. Alright, I feel like that's a little better. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my brows. I feel like this is so essential because I have such coarse brows that don't like to listen. So I'm just going to comb through them. They kind of have a mind of their own, but I swear this is the only brow product I've tried, well, brow gel that I've tried, that just holds all of my brows together for like the entire, like they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to stay just like this, and I'm happy with that. So first I'm just going to prime my eyes really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and set that base because I am very oily, and if I don't set it, it will crease whatever eyeshadow I put on top of it, and it just sucks. So I'm just going to use a neutral color and kind of set all up to the concealer just so that there's no tackiness that shadow might want to cling on to. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this color, Now Boarding, from the Morphe 9B palette. It's like a brown color. So I'm just going to use that lightly in the crease. And a little bit on the outer corner. And I'm just going to buff all of that in. This is my all-time favorite brush ever for blending. This is the MAC 286. I use this with no product. I never have any product on this brush when I use it. I simply use it to diffuse the color that I'm using. So I'm just going to further, this is like my second blender. So I'll blend that one until I'm happy with how it looks, and then I'll go in with this one just to make sure that there's like nothing that I missed. Now I kind of want something a little bit darker but not too dark. I guess I'll just grab a color from that same palette. I'm gonna grab Beach Please and very lightly go over the areas I just went with Now Boarding. So I'm going to grab my old E40 and just blend all of that together. I'm just going to grab a dark brown eyeshadow and kind of smoke it out because I don't want something too precise. I don't want something harsh. I kind of just want a little liner just to define my lash line. I'm gonna grab a dark brown color. Anyone is pretty much fine. The darker the better in this case. Whoops. And I'm just gonna begin to line my lash line, focusing mostly on the outer corner. And I'm gonna actually grab a smaller brush and try to form a wing with it. So I'm just gonna grab my dark brown that I was using earlier and kind of bring it out. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a black. You can use any black shadow, and I'm gonna use the smaller of the angled brush, And I'm gonna come a little bit closer to the lash line, but without Okay, now that I'm kind of happy with the way my eyes look, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up any shadow that might have fallen or anything really that I'm not happy with. So I'm just gonna go right under that little itsy line. And now I'm ready for the rest of my face. So I'm just gonna prime really quickly. I got this as a sample from Sephora. It's the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. So I have a nice smooth canvas. Now it's time for foundation. I'm using my favorite foundation in the entire world right now, and it's the Huda Beauty foundation, and I am in Gingerbread. When it comes to foundation, I kind of like to apply it with my fingers first. So I'm just gonna blend this all over my face. And here's where I'll kind of pinch my beauty blender a little bit. Well, that's not my beauty blender, my Morphe sponge. I'll kind of pinch it a little bit when I get close to my brows with leftover product on it. I don't add any more product to my beauty blender. I kind of just work with what's on my face. I'll pinch it a little, and when I get to my brows, I'll get as close as possible without touching the hairs. And I feel like that kind of just cleans it up. It does it for me. So that's why I kind of don't conceal the top of my brows. And I don't worry about it being perfect when I'm filling them in, because I kind of just, in a sense, I'll clean them up with my foundation. You take it up to your hairline. I have so many baby hairs, so a trick I like to do is I kind of just like to grab a spoolie and pick them all up and then blend my foundation, because I've got baby hairs for days up here, and I don't like that look of just foundation and no foundation in the forehead. So I'll just go ahead and blend. And then I kind of achieved my facial look without adding any more. There's a little bit more space, like places I'm going to add a little bit more foundation, but I basically have the even base that I'm looking for, and it's without even using a full pump of foundation. I still have a little bit more left on my hand, so I'll go ahead and wherever else I see that I need a little bit more coverage, or I want, you know, just to perfect a little bit more, I'll go ahead and add that excess foundation to it. Okay, so my next step is concealer. I'm going to grab the same concealer I used for my brows for my under eye. And I'm just going to conceal. I kind of do this thing where I like to mix concealers, because ever since I've tried the LA Girl Pro Conceal concealer, I have not been able to put it down, and it's been legit years. So this is like my base for any concealer that I'm doing. So I'm just gonna squeeze them out, and I'll add this first. I don't know, I just feel like I love the color so much, and no matter how perfect I think my next concealer shade is, I feel like it just needs a little bit of fun. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my Too Faced concealer, and I'm going to add it on top of that. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that same brush that I used for my brows, And I'm going to grab a little bit of concealer and kind of define that liner a little bit more. So I'm just going to grab some from under my eye and kind of start the blending process for my concealer and the liner, because I get pretty messy with my blender. I am not very careful when it comes to my eyes, so I kind of like to take these precautions. And from previous experiences, this is something that I genuinely need to do. So I'm going to do the same to the other eye. I don't know, I just felt like that just made blending my under eye concealer out so much easier rather than trying to get a nice crisp line with the Beauty Blender. I keep saying Beauty Blender. Whenever I say that, just know I'm referencing my Morphe sponge. I am, though, however, going to set it with the Beauty Blender because I don't know if it's just me, but I don't like the way my powder sets with a wet sponge. I prefer a dry sponge. So this is just like a Beauty Blender that I no longer use because I fell in love with my Morphe sponge. It's just dry. I use it just to bake under my eyes. So I'll go ahead and blend it one more time because I crease so quickly. And that's why I have like both in my hand, so I'm like ready to switch them out. I'm going to blend that and then I'm going to add some powder and bake. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some bronzer to the face. My favorite right now isn't even a bronzer. It's a blush from MAC and it's called Blunt. So I'm just going to go ahead, pick that up, and suck in my cheeks. Now I'm just going to go ahead and brush the bake off. So I'm going to highlight, and a little trick that I like to do when I'm highlighting is I like to put a cream highlighter on before I put my actual powder. So what I'm going to be using today is an oldie but a goodie. This is the Benefit What's Up. And the current highlighter that I'm obsessed with is the Amrezy highlight. I'll grab my Beauty Blender and I'll just pick up some product and I'll tap it where I'm going to put my highlight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blush, and then we're going to head back to the eyes, do the lips, and our look would be finished. Right now for blush, I'm using the blush trio in Peachy Love from Anastasia. When I use it, I kind of just like grab my brush and I'll just kind of like and blush. But I picked some up on the brush and I'm dabbing it on the back of my hand just to diffuse the color a little bit, and I'm just gonna add it to the inner corner. Done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and grab those browns that I was using on my eyes earlier, and I'm just gonna go add that a little bit to the lash line, not too crazy. Eyes. I'm going to go ahead and work on my lips. I'm just going to go ahead and use the makeup wipe and take any foundation or product that's on my lip right now. For lip liner, what I'm going to use is one of my favorite nudes right now, and it's by Morphe. It's called Bite Me. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply my liquid lip. Thank you guys so much for getting through my first tutorial with me, and if you do have any other requests, I will be uploading videos every week, so if you can please like, comment, and subscribe down below, that'd be